Hi guys, so today I'm going to go through how to design blog images and things that you need for your blog and your social media in Canva. Now, hopefully you can get yourselves to canva.com. My Canva might look a little bit different to yours because I've paid for the upgrade, so I've got Canva for Business, which I would say is a good idea. It's not a lot of money. I think it's about £10 a month, but it does give you some shortcuts that make things a lot easier. So for example, we have the Your Brand section, so you can put your brand colours in there and you can put logos in here, which mean and you've got the ability to upload your own fonts. So whilst it's not completely imperative and you can totally use Canva without having the Canva for Business, I actually went back to the free PicMonkey because I still use that for resizing sometimes, and I went back to the free PicMonkey to give me some extra funds to pay for Canva, because I really think that it's so handy just having the brand colours in there and not having to put the hex codes in, every single time you do a new design for something. So it also gives you the options to put folders in, which I don't think the free one does, to keep things a bit tidier. I think you can add members to your team without, but maybe not. I think that might be another thing that you can get your team members, if you have a team, to collaborate on certain designs, but not necessarily on all of your designs. And there's some templates in here that's already sort of pulled in for you. These aren't mine, but it just makes things a lot quicker. If you're doing a Facebook, you can just go straight to that and do it. It's all in, the design section, but it just makes things easier. So this is the main dashboard that you come to. Now, we're just going to go and look at Canva. Is incredible, and it's the way that people that aren't particularly brilliant at design, as well as those that have an eye, can design really great images. And we all know that images are really, really important. So I'm just going into here to give you a little overview of what's there. So you can use custom dimensions and completely start from scratch, or you can go in and use one of these templates. Now, one of the other things that's worth bearing in mind for Canva for Business is that you can do one design. So maybe I pick the social post, and then instead of having to design the same thing on lots of different sizes, you can go up to the magic resize and it will resize them all. Sometimes you have to do a bit of tweaking, but it is incredible. And that when you're doing a new campaign, so for example, I've got courses out, I can then just click all of these different social options and it resizes my one design to all of those different ones, which is brilliant. And then I can drag things out, make sure things look right. Whereas if I did that in PicMonkey, it would squish my design or pull it around, so it wouldn't have that nice clear sort of all in proportion look, which I can get really quickly using Canva for Business. So that's just one other thing to bear in mind. And obviously anything that makes it quicker for you means that you can spend more time on things that make money in your blog. So there's so many options. As you can see, you scroll down, and I use some of these more than others. And I'll just go through and show you the main ones I use. So let's go into my designs. So I think the main two things I use or the main three things maybe, are my pin template. So this is not actually, I was doing this for another video, but you can see I have a template here, and it's a little bit sparse because it was for an example. But I have a pin template, which is always the same. So it has two different types of fonts. It has a background image which changes, and it has my blog URL. So if you see here, there's lots of different pin templates that you could use, and you could say, okay, so maybe we don't want, so this is mine, and what I would do is when I have a blogging post, as you can see, I've got loads of images, background images already loaded in there, loads of brand options in there, and you can see things are already loaded. They're all my backgrounds, etc. So if I had a new blogging tips post, all I would do is drag my background off, then I would drag a new background on, and you can see this is a vertical image and a horizontal template, a horizontal picture rather, but I would just resize it. I would just grab the corner, pull it out, resize it so it actually covers that image, and then you can see it just pops to the back. If it doesn't pop to the back, you would just go up there and there would be an option here saying send to back, but it's already gone, so it knows that's what it's got to do. And then I would just change this text to whatever I wanted the new text to be. Make sure it all stays, that you can still see that logo, that font there. So if it went a bit dark, I could change it off the pink to the black. It just depends which looks better for that post. And then I would save that, so I just come up here, rename it and save it. And then because I've got that image, this image in the background is actually a horizontal image, I could just resize that image and have that as my featured image on my blog if I didn't obviously want this pin. And then what I would do in my process would be, okay, I've created the pin, I've got a featured image, I now need a Facebook and a Twitter image, because obviously if you're sharing things on social media platforms, it makes more sense to have them the size that they should actually be. So I would save that, and I would go back into my templates and I would find this is my Twitter one. So it's already set up. I've just picked the main template that is on that main page for Twitter. I've set up a thing that I'm kind of going off now, but I liked it at the time. That actually should be behind that image. There was just a little overlay, so I can show you how to do that. And my logo. Obviously, you could put your URL, but it's going to link through a little bit more than it would on Pinterest, for example. Pinterest is a little bit more visual than Twitter. So for this one, I would do the same thing. So I'd get the same image. Was it this one, I think? I would just drop it onto there. It automatically goes to the back because that's the image that I have set up. I would change this font here, and then it would be good to go. So then I would just save that as Twitter, whatever the title is. I might say, look, that's not as good here. So I'll show you how I did that. So if you think, oh, I actually want to change this image a little bit, it depends whether your image is set up as a kind of frame or not. But you can double click on it and then sometimes move the image. See how I can move it down? And it sort of greys out, and I can think, okay, I want more of that flower in there, so maybe I'll do that. That pot rather. So you can move it around a bit by double clicking the image and getting the greyed out box and then moving it around a little bit. Maybe I could make the image bigger so that I can drag it over a bit more and have more of the colour in the picture. See how I did that? Just drag it over, move it that way, and it fills up more of that white space, which actually looks better. Then I can click that. And you can see it's filled that up a bit more. It's a bit more eye-catching than it was initially. But it's still using that same featured image that's the horizontal image, but you can put a section of it for your pin, and then I would save that. Then the next thing I would do, and these are all only going to take me a couple of minutes. Most of the time, I don't need to resize anything like that. I just do if I think it looks better. So then I'd go and find my Facebook one, which obviously I can't find at the moment because that would be far too easy. So I have a few, as you can see, I've got many different images on here. So that one is actually my Facebook one. So again, I would just call it up, and you can see it's the same thing as the Twitter. So there is a bit of continuity there. And again, all you would literally do is I wouldn't drag this off because this is actually, it depends how it's set up. If you go to drag and you see the whole thing disappearing like this, then all I would do is put one on the top of it, because that will automatically go into there. And then if again we wanted to move it across because it actually looks a bit better, if it doesn't move, that's because there's no more room for it to move, so you'd have to make it bigger to then be able to drag it across or make it a little bit more of the space. If you wanted the image to be more greyed out, you wanted to maybe put text up here, you would just click on it so that you get those black dots, and then you can filter. You can add a filter on the image, or you can make it brighter or darker. You can adjust the contrast, so you can do a lot of things within that, or you can just put an actual filter over the top, just like any other thing that you use, and then adjust the intensity of the filter. There's all of these. So if you click advanced options, there's all of that. I mean, you can tweak till your heart's content, but in most cases you don't need it. You just need to maybe adjust your crop a little bit, but that's just tweaking. You then click on your text. You can change the text here, just type in your new text and go to save it. So then after that process, which is really, really quick, I would have a pin, I would have a matching featured image, which you can set up easily just by, going into Canva, the main bit. So you could just set up, use custom dimensions. So say if your blog is 1,000 pixels wide by 800, and that's what you need your featured image always to be. Instead of resizing in PicMonkey, you could design that, and obviously it just brings you up that template. Then you can get your featured image, which is this one, and just drop it over the top, and then you can see how that would be your featured image. So if you wanted to save that as, featured image, and just the one that shows up as the home page on your home page, so then that would be saved as featured image. So hopefully if Canva updates quickly, you will see that there. It's going to generate the preview for a while. So next time if you want to, you've done your pin, then you've gone over and thought I need to do a featured image, so I'm going to click on that. It's going to bring up this. This is fine. I'm just going to get my new image. So maybe the next day you want to use this image for your pin and everything. So you just resize it. You can actually, because this has got a white background, I'll show you actually. You can actually just delete that. So I'll show you that again. Because that's on a background, you can just say that's what it looked like. You can click it so that it has the black dots. Just press delete. You still have your size. So you don't have to overlay. You can if you want overlay, but you can just do that, drag that back out, say, okay, I'm going to use a proportion of this for my pin, but that's going to be my featured image. Whack it onto the Facebook one, whack it onto the Twitter one, and you have 4 images within about 5 minutes maximum that are all the right size for all the different platforms, that are kind of optimized to show up best. They're not going to chop off or anything like that. And your blog images are always going to be the same. So that's how I would start using Canva for just getting optimized images for your blog posts. So one blog post, 4 different sized images within about 5 minutes. I hope that's helped.